I know I said that the next time or any other times when I talk about the Coonstress, it will be anything Triple P related because I just can't wait for the moment to come. But it looks like we have to continue to wait a little bit longer. But I could not pass up on this one. I saw this story that was posted in my Discord, and I forgot who posted it, but shout out to whoever did. If you're watching this, thank you for posting it in the news chat, where you have the Coonstress got on her platform and said one of the most utterly ridiculous things that she has ever said, and trust and believe she has a laundry list of dumb stuff ish that has left out of her mouth over the years. But this one right here is so dumb, but it also has exposed her for being the blatant hypocrite that she is. I mean, we've always known that she is what she is, but this one right here takes the cake. And I hate to even say that because something tells me I'm going to be saying it again later on if I have to do another video about her. And let me just go ahead and read the title. Candace Owens, and by the way, this is coming from newsbreak.com. It says, Candace Owens, America is systematically discriminating against whites and Asians. That's what it says. Keep in mind, this is the same chick that claims systemic racism isn't real, but she only claims it's not real when black people call it out. So to her, systemic racism is real when it happens to white people and Asians, meaning the two people that probably kiss her ass the most. But truth be told, it's a lot, and y'all can choose to believe it or not. There are a lot of PC people out there that are not on her bandwagon. It's a lot of white people out there that cannot stand Candace Owens just as much as we can. I keep telling people, when she gets her moment, when she gets the moment, it's going to be at their hands. They're going to be the one that's going to completely knock her off her square. And the crazy thing is, at one point, people was like on her, on her side and everything, and big up in her and everything like that. But now people have started to see the error in her ways and have now seen the light. They know a grift when they see it. This woman is the queen of grifting, the queen of grifters. She's a huge one. And the thing is, when you grift like that, the thing is, you're not supposed to make it look too obvious. But she, in the last few stances that she's taken, and there's been a lot of few of those, it's so glaringly obvious what she's doing. She's not even trying to hide it anymore. She's letting us know she's doing this for the money. To say something like this: since when have white people ever been systematically oppressed? They're the ones that created the system. Now, if you created the system of oppression and you get oppressed by the same system you created, then that's a problem. That means you failed. Because it's supposed to work in your favor and not against you. And as far as Asians go, they got a whole hate crime bill. So, if you don't even look in their direction, they can say that you're hating against them. So I don't know what she's talking about. Black people have yet to get one, and we've been systematically oppressed since the inception of this nation. Now, keep in mind, also, this is the same woman who had all that smoke for Ahmaud Arbery last year and all this support for the McMichaels and William Roddy Bryan, saying that they were just committing a citizen's arrest. They are not guilty of whatever it is that they're accused of. They should be able to walk in, all this, and the third. We all know what the verdict was. All three of the men were found guilty, and I read it in the article that I did on my channel. Minimum life sentence. No surprise that this heifer did not make one tweet about that trial. At least the results of the trial. I don't know if she made any tweets about it during the trial. Mind you, I blocked her. I have blocked her for the longest. She's been on my block list for the absolute longest. And I'm not surprised. Now, I bet you if the trial went the way that she wanted it to, you would have not seen her without her mouth closed. Also, keep in mind, Lisa just recently did a video about how this woman, why did I call her that? The Coonstress recently raised like $250,000 for some PC cop for something. I forgot what it was about. She has no problem raising money for white people. She doesn't. Man, woman, child, no matter what the profession may be, if they do something that lines up with her, And especially if it's against black people, she will go out of her way to raise money for them. And it's not the first time she has done this. Because I think she tried to raise some campaign money or something like that for Kyle Rittenhouse. But they shut it down. Or whoever it was that no, Derek Chauvin. I think it was Derek Chauvin. And what did Derek Chauvin do? He kneeled on the neck of George Floyd for 9 minutes, about over 9 minutes, killing him. And she raised money for him, all because she says, oh, George Floyd was this and George Floyd was that. I need the families of any slain black person at the hands of these demons to go after her. And I mean, I want them to sue her ass into oblivion. I don't want her to even have lint left in her pockets and her bank account by the time they're done with them. Because this woman has to be one of the most psychotic, mentally ill people walking the planet right now. Bump the planet, the galaxy. It's probably other life forms on other planets who have more of a sane mind than she does. But she knows what she's doing. She knows what side her biscuits are buttered on. She knows who pays her. That's why she does it. Because I highly doubt she would do this for free. There's no way. There is no way she would do this for free. But then again, she might. Keep in mind also, this is the same woman that sued her school for so-called a racial, I'm saying so-called on her behalf because that's what she claimed it was, for at her school and got a bunch of money and then later dropped out when she got that bag. Remember, she used to be a left-leaning person until she figured out that she couldn't get the money she wanted on that side. So she decided to trot her little ass over to the right-leaning side where she knew she could make her bones. This woman is a head-to-toe plastic personality person. From the top of her wig to the bottom of her corn cushions. And everywhere in between. This woman is the epitome of dark negative energy inside and out. I have never, ever encountered, at least not in person, a person like this ever in my life. And I've seen and talked about a lot on this channel. But this woman right here, this chick right here, she goes above and beyond to be as nasty and trifling as she can be. I swear this woman tries to out Karen actual Karens. She is the black Karen. For real, for real. And the only time she'll probably ever claim her blackness is if something happens to her. Mark my words. When she gets her wake-up call, that's when she's going to start spouting out about her being black. I'm telling you, that's when it's going to happen. When she gets her wake-up call, that's when she's going to claim her blackness. But until that time, she's going to be doing this. And like I said, I cannot wait for her to get her moment. I might actually live stream that. Like, that's not going to be enough to do a pre-recorded video. That has to be in the form of a live stream. This is going to be a world event. Like, for real, for real. And everybody cannot wait until she does. I hope the Coonstress knows how hated she is. And it's not hate given to a person that doesn't deserve it. It's hate because it's warranted. This woman is the ultimate traitor in more ways than one. She is a waste of space. She is a waste of melanin. She is a waste of sperm. She's one of the ones that should have got flushed. I said it. She should have got flushed or swallowed or discarded somewhere. How did she win the race to the egg? How? Too bad the other little tadpoles didn't make it before she did. R.I.P. to them. My goodness. And I know she tries to do this stuff for shock value, but the thing is, her grift is so blatant that nothing she does is shocking anymore. Like, her saying this isn't shocking. It's infuriating more than anything, but it's not shocking. Like, for me, I'm not going to sit up here and say, oh my God, I can't believe Candace said this. Wow, I would be lying to myself. I would be lying to you, my audience, who's listening, if I said that I was shocked with what she said. Talking about America is systematically discriminating against whites and Asians. But remember, this is the same woman that said there's no racism in America. Mind you, she said that after she sued her school for racial discrimination upon herself. I'm not even going to bother reading the article because I don't even want to know why she said it. It's the fact that she said it. That's ridiculous. PC and Asians are not being systematically discriminated against in America. At least not more than black people and white people. When have they ever been systematically oppressed? Again, they created the system of oppression. If they can't benefit off of that, that's just a waste of whiteness. And as far as Asians go, they got a whole hate crime bill to protect them. So whatever discrimination they probably once had, they no longer have it. At least not in an abundance like we do. Keep in mind, this is a whole black woman right here who doesn't realize she's black. I bet you whenever she wakes up in the morning and looks at her crusty face in the mirror, if it isn't cracked from her oogliness, she probably wishes she could take a pumice stone and scrub that black off of her skin until it turns as white as the clouds. And it probably aches her that she can't do it. I'm shocked the woman hasn't gone into a store and got some skin bleaching cream yet. Not to say she hasn't, but she has yet to apply it. Because externally, she is a black woman, but internally, she is pale as the white that is she's wearing in her clothing option that you see in this pic. Like I said, nothing she says is shocking anymore. Nothing. And I know y'all say, Taurean, just ignore her. I can't ignore this. Like, seriously, could you ignore someone saying something like this? Like I said, it's not shocking, but could you actually ignore that? Because imagine if this was to actually like stick and land. Guess who would get reparations? Mind you, the two groups that she's saying is systematically oppressed, they've been getting reparations for a long time and still is getting them. Every other group has gotten theirs except us. And even though she's not FBA, if we was to get our stuff, if she wasn't such of a Coonstress, she would probably benefit. But I'm telling you right now, we get ours, I'm making sure that we gonna put some kind of a gate around our shit. She ain't getting a dime of what's owed to us. But you know what would be so interesting? We get our reparations, they cut that check. Watch how nice people start being to us. The fake and phony will come out of the woodwork. Her included. Because like I tell you, she does everything she does for money. She has to know what she says out of her mouth pretty much every day is ridiculous. But when you get to the point where other people that you're trying to cater to is starting to not grasp what it is that you're saying or picking up what you're throwing down, then you know you're starting to hit a dead end. She just needs to stop, but she won't stop because she craves the attention. So she'll say anything. This chick will probably look up in the sky and say the sky's purple. If they paid her enough to do it. She'll say that the water is black. If they paid her enough to do it. Nah, she won't say black because to get her to say black is like pulling teeth. So she'll probably say that it's white because she loves white people so much. She loves the color white. Because they paid her to do it. Just like I'm sure they paid her to say this crap. Like I said, she probably doesn't even believe anything that she says, but she'll believe it enough if the price is right. Talking about some America is systematically discriminating against whites and Asians. She said that, and I'm gonna read a little piece right here. This is a small piece. I'm not gonna read the whole thing. She says that is not an incentive for white and Asians to do well in the country because they are discriminated against. On that note, I'm going to end this video because if I don't, I'm going to end up reading past that. And I don't have the energy to read that. I already been on here for almost 15 minutes. And to read that means we will probably be here for another 15. Y'all can choose to read anything past that at your own leisure. Try not to lose any brain cells. That's why I'm not going to read it. I'll talk to you in the next one. So I had to come back on here and add this little piece in here. And it's a good thing that I decided to wait to upload the commentary. Now, the part that y'all heard prior to this was recorded a couple days ago. And this is a couple days later. And I want y'all to listen to what Candace Owens said when she was on Tucker Carlson's show just recently as a response to what happened involving Darrell Brooks. Like, she literally made a very inflammatory statement against Black Americans. Key words there is Black Americans, not Black people. So I'm going to play the audio and then I'm going to go in some more.
I always say, Tucker, is that the left can pull a racist narrative from thin air where it doesn't exist, but when it actually is in their face, they try to avoid it at all costs, especially when the perpetrator is a Black person against another white person, which obviously happens more often in this country, given the fact that Black Americans are the most murderous group in America by rate. Now, what's interesting here is that the two biggest race cases of the last 2 years, arguably George Floyd and Kyle Rittenhouse, never actually produced a single piece of evidence pointing to race, right? George Floyd, Derek Chauvin never used racial language or racial slurs against George Floyd during that arrest. Didn't matter. It became the biggest race case in America. Kyle Rittenhouse, that case had to do with 3 white people. Didn't matter. They extracted a racial narrative.
Okay, so that's pretty much it. So she literally took this case right here and used it to make a blanket statement against Black people, to say this comment, that Black Americans are the most dangerous, murderous group in America by rate. Keep that in mind. Sorry about that. I had to pause it real quick. But anyway, she used this situation right here involving Darrell Brooks, who I just talked about in my one of my recent commentaries, to say and make this inflammatory and very blatant statement saying Black America. This is what left her mouth. This is not even alleged. This is what she said. You heard her. And this is just the thumbnail from when she was on Tucker Carlson. She said that Black Americans are the most murderous group by rate in America. That is a very blasphemous statement to make. And notice Tucker Carlson is just sitting there looking like a deer caught in the headlights as usual, with the 1 or 2 faces that he always makes, just sitting there kind of nodding his head at what she's saying. Now, whether he believes it or not, I don't know. He probably does. He probably doesn't. See, the thing is, Candace Owens is used as cannon fodder. She's used as a shield. Whenever PC, especially people like Tucker Carlson, can't say what he want to say about Black people to make it seem like he's coming off as a racist guy, they bring in people like Candace, and she gladly leaps like a frog to a lily pad to do their bidding all the time. And people went in on her on Twitter yesterday, because I'm actually recording this second part on December the 1st. They went in on her, and rightfully so. And here's the kicker. It was a lot of PC people that was dragging her all over Twitter when she said this. And some other things that she was talking about too, but I'm going to get into that a little bit later. Now, what's interesting is this woman still has not said anything about the McMichaels verdict, even though she had said all these lies about Ahmaud Arbery being this robber and he wasn't jogging and it was all propaganda and all this stuff right here. She never said anything about that, even though the verdict came out over a week ago that all three men were found guilty of a good vast majority of the charges they were hit with. She was gleefully talking about, Kyle Rittenhouse, because it went the way that she wanted it, and many people who think like her went. And then she mentioned George Floyd. Listen, that was a racial thing. I don't give a damn what she said. And she used that talking point. Well, they didn't call him any slurs, so it wasn't a racial thing. But then when it came to Kyle Rittenhouse, they used it as a thing of, they tried to attack him with race and everything like that, which goes back, and this actually piggybacks off of the first part of this video when she said that whites and Asians are being systematically oppressed. But then she comes back and says that Black people have the highest, are the most dangerous and murderous group in America. And then she talked about Black on white crime. This woman is literally a walking Oreo. She literally is a whole Dub-S pamphlet painted in black, filled with lily white pages. Keep in mind, it's the same woman that was advertising some kind of fake Freedom Phone a couple months ago. I talked about that, and people was going in on her about that. She even, her husband, he is the CEO of this website or this app called Parler. I'm not exactly sure how Parler works, but she's been talking about Parler this and Parler that, and people have been going in on her and saying, well, Candace, you've been talking about this Parler for over a year. Your husband's the CEO. Why haven't you left Twitter? And she never gives a response. She knows she's not going to leave Twitter because that's where most of her base is at. They're not going to follow her over there. And then, the CEO of Twitter, Jack Dorsey, just recently stepped down, and she talking about, oh, Jack, it's so good that you have now decided to step down as the CEO of Twitter. This left is this, and because she has to always throw a political angle in there somewhere. And go over to Parler U. She hasn't even gone over to Parler. I said Parler U. I was thinking of Prager U. She hasn't even gone over to Parler. So how you gonna tell people to go over somewhere you're not? This woman, like I said, that's why I call her, the other nickname I gave her is the grifting princess. If people don't see her grift for what it is by now, you are just willfully obtuse. Because this woman does any and everything for the money, for the bag, and for several bags at that. And has gotten plenty of them. How do you think she's gotten where she's gotten? And speaking of her husband, I heard that that he proposed to her, or whatever the case may be, after they only knew each other for 3 weeks. That's not a long dating window at all. And then got married shortly soon after. And from what I heard, and this is alleged, but knowing her, it wouldn't be surprising, is that he proposed to her over the phone. I was reading through some of the comments. I said, this woman is a lost, pathetic cause. She really is. I can't stand this cum guzzling, palm-colored internal, Hot Wheel skid mark on the ass bitch. No one can, honestly. I think she is her biggest fan. She's her biggest fan of hearing herself talk. She's the biggest fan of believing what she says. She's just her number one fan. No one's a bigger fan of Candace Owens than Candace Owens herself. I keep saying to myself, I'm going to leave it alone when she talks about certain things because I know this is just her. But for her to say what she said right here, that's overdoing it. Like I said, keep in mind, she did not say black people are the most dangerous group in America by rate. She said black Americans. She made sure to specifically say black Americans. Remember, this woman is not FBA. Like her lineage does not go back to chattel slavery here in America. She made sure to be specific. She didn't say black people in the diaspora. She said black Americans. So that's an indictment that she's throwing onto us. That should be considered as an insult. Meanwhile, what just happened a couple days after she made this comment? Or a day or so later, because I can't remember when she made this comment. You had a mass shooting that happened at a school in Michigan. And if it's the usual suspect, she ain't going to say much about it, but she'll probably say, oh, about that state of that state of in Illinois, let's say Illinois and that city of Chicago. She's probably going to mention that because it doesn't flow with her narrative, her agenda. She never talks about that. After all, this is the same woman that raised money for these killer cops. Like it's nothing. Like it is nothing. Whenever they kill black people, though. And with the exception, most likely, with Kyle Rittenhouse, but she had an angle for that too, as she always does. She always comes with an angle. She always comes with an agenda. She always comes up with a narrative that usually benefits only her, while she's trying to blanket it as being for most people. This woman doesn't care about black people. And when white people say, oh, she cares about black people, Candace Owens is the greatest, shut up. Y'all don't know what the hell great is. Y'all still trying to find your great white hope. Shut up. But I just had to come on here and add this little piece in here. She has no problem going to mixed company and telling people about this. Because if she came over on this side, first off, she wouldn't even be welcome. Number one. That's number one. But just in case she happened to slip through the crack, it would be a no mercy in-game Thanos snap for her ass. Point blank, period. Over and done with in like 2.5. Like I said, she's bad for business. She just is. Always has been and always will be. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I really don't care what PC thinks about her or how high in esteem they carry her or the bootlicks in the same tone. This woman is evil. Okay? I'm convinced that this woman was birthed from the legs of Satan. I'm convinced. No, I don't even think she was birthed. I think she might have been hatched. I'm not even gonna lie. I think this bitch was hatched. I think she came out of a damn chicken and they just laid there and nested and she hatched from a big ass egg. And most of the bigness inside of that egg was her big ass head. But that's all I really have to say. Y'all let me know what y'all think.